So when I was in the army, the Australian Army, I was deployed to Iraq for 6 months. And during that time, my section was mandated to spend 70 million US dollars in a 3-month period. During that time, we'd find ourselves sitting around on piles of cash. We would literally make chairs out of money and sit on them. My name's Edward Plant from Lead a Better Business, and during my time in the Army I learned a heap of things that apply just as much to the Army as they do to your business, and I wanted to share a couple of with you here today with you. So during my deployment to Iraq, as I said, $70 million, 90 days. We came up with a heap of projects to do that improved the Iraqis' level of life and ability to endure past the coalition forces. Some of them I was really proud of. But they're a different story. And what I wanted to talk to you today was about 70 million bucks. A lot of money. In Iraq in those days, there were no banks. You couldn't electronically transfer money. Everything was dealt in cash. So I remember one day we had to fly up to Baghdad to get the money. It was all centrally housed in Baghdad. And we would fly up there with a couple of guys for security, get the money, and then fly back. Ideally, we'd do it all in the same day, because sitting around with a heap of cash is not good. This one visit we were going up, I think it was between 5 and 10 million US. So a reasonable amount of money. We got there late and we had to fly out early the next morning, and we were flying out before the cash office had opened, which meant we needed to get the cash out that afternoon and then look after it all night and then fly out the next morning. So we had to have guys on the money all the time, basically. We couldn't just leave it anywhere, so we had shifts and we had the security measures in place. Me and my off-sider went away, and we'd left a Dutch guy with the money. There were 3 or 4 of us. Went away for half an hour, came back, and there were just people streaming into the tent that we were staying in. Like, oh, this doesn't look good. And we get in, and we can see in the back corner there's this crowd of probably 30 guys hanging around one of the beds. And we come in, we sort of push through, and the Dutch guys ended up opening up all the money to show them all what 5 million bucks looks like. We're like, oh, this could go wrong on so many levels. So we got everyone out, and we looked after the money, and we were sort of thinking of George Clooney in his movie The Three Kings, you know, where they end up stealing a heap of money and they do that run chase through Iraq. Well, we thought we could have got ambushed, and a soldier, where 5 million bucks is a lot of money, it's more than they'd ever earn in their lifetime, come in and take the money and try and clear it out. So we were pretty worried about that for the night. Next morning, had breakfast and we still had the money, so it was all good. We were driving to the airport, and we had these, we were driving along, and a MP car put its lights and sirens on and pulled us over. We're like, oh no, maybe MPs are going to steal it off us. And they came up all serious, hands on their pistols, and said, hey, we hear you guys have got some money. We're like, oh, yeah, we've got the receipts and everything though, it's all legit. And then I'm like, no, that's all right, you're fine, boys. We just wanted a photo with the money if we could. We're like, yeah, okay. So we ended up getting it back to Basra, where I was based, and we'd put it in the safe. And what the guys would do in the safe is they'd make chairs out of it. And then a heap of the diggers would come through and just get photos of themselves sitting on a chair made of 5 million bucks, literally. So pretty intense times. But let me share some lessons I got out of that whole thing. So the first lesson is, if you don't have the infrastructure in place, things can be a lot more difficult. So because there were no banks or money systems, it was a lot more difficult. We had to send a guy up there every 2 weeks, or a team up there every 2 weeks. So it cut into our work output, exposed us to a lot more risk, and was just a lot more challenging. The next one was around trust. And we needed to trust the diggers that we took up there with the money, but we also had to trust those people that came. Like, we had 40 guys trying to get photos with money, and we had to trust them. There was very little other choice. The next one was empowering the right people. Now, we probably empowered a wrong guy there, the guy that welcomed everyone in to take photos with the money, and we empowered him with a lot of responsibility, and we maybe shouldn't have. but it's key. It was a key lesson for me, making sure I gave the right trust and responsibility to the right people. The next one was the strategy to spend. So 70 million bucks in 90 days, a lot of money, and we could have really wasted it, but we needed to come up with a good strategy to do that. And I'll probably get into that in another couple of videos from where I talk about for that. So they're the 4 major lessons I learned, but how do they apply to business? So the first lesson that I think applies to this for business, specifically for you out there, is that if you aren't structured for growth and structured for dealing with that increased revenue, the systems in place, the staff, the ability to deliver, it won't happen. And so what I see in businesses is a lot of businesses struggle when they get into that growth phase and they don't have it set out correctly to support them achieving the growth bigger and better. The other one is that 90% of businesses out there don't have capacity and structure to deal with that growth, and as a result they just don't get it. The next lesson is that you can just waste a heap of money and resources if you don't have that system and structure in place. So for us it was 2 days travel, work we didn't do, plus the risk of all of the money being around. So what is it for your business? How are you not maximising the return on your investment and what you're doing with your money? And then the final lesson, which is probably the most important, is that the wrong person could have really caused a lot of problems. We could have had a George Clooney 3 Kings incident, but for you, for your business, it's staff, management, and I've got a message to give a client a call about conflict resolution straight after this. So having the right people are really critical in the results that you're going to achieve in your business. So that's all I've got time for. But what I'd love you to do is, if you want a bit more structure around your business planning and stuff, drop us a line and let us know, and we've got some worksheets that we can send through that are helpful, or you could check out our one of our upcoming workshops. But that's all I've got time for. Edward Plant, signing off for Lead a Better Business.